Well, hello again, all of my wonderful math friends. Welcome back to another riveting episode of Math with Mrs. Wrigler. So today we're talking about the coordinate plane. And of all the planes, it's my favorite type of plane, mostly because it's math related. But the coordinate plane is basically a grid where you can plot different points, locations. You see it a lot of times on maps and things like that. Now, what you're probably used to is a graph kind of like this. You've probably been used to graphing where on your horizontal axis, which is known as the x-axis, and your y-axis, which is the vertical axis, those are all positive numbers. So you're working really with only one section, the upper right-hand section of your coordinate plane. Well, we're going to throw in some negatives. So we're going to be working with all of the quadrants that go along with the coordinate plane. So let's take a look. In this case, I'll run through this real quickly with you, but the coordinate plane is really broken into 4 sections, and those 4 sections are called quadrants. And quadrants, it's called a quadrant because the prefix quad means 4. So you have 4 sections, and those 4 sections are quadrant 1, which is the one that you're probably most familiar with, where you have positive horizontal values or x values. See, that's the x-axis. Horizontal axis is the x, and the vertical axis is the y. So if I have positive numbers to the right and positive numbers up, all those points would be in this section called quadrant 1, and we use the Roman numerals to represent each of those quadrants. Quadrant 2, which is 2 I's for Roman numerals, we are going to the left, which would be negative numbers on this part of the number line, negative numbers to the left, and then positive numbers up. So quadrant 2 has negative x values and positive y values. Quadrant 3, you're going left and you're going down, so both will be negative. And quadrant 4, you have positive numbers to the right and then negative numbers down. So those are your quadrant 4 values, where the x value is positive and the y value is negative. The point right in the center, which is known as the origin, that's the point where the x-axis and the y-axis meet. And if you were to give it an ordered pair, which is a pair of numbers that identifies its location, it would be 0, 0, meaning we go over 0 and up 0. So we'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute. So that kind of gives you just the preliminary view, just a quick overview. So let's talk more about these ordered pairs. The ordered pairs are made up of 2 parts. You have the x-coordinate, which always comes first. Well, first of all, let me go back and say an ordered pair means that you have a pair or 2 numbers that are in a specific order. So the order makes a difference. So your first number is your x-coordinate or your x value. That number tells you where to go on the x-axis. Your y-coordinate, which is the second number, tells you where to go on the y-axis. And then you plot that point. So it's always x followed by the y. And that's a comma. Okay, so it's alphabetical order, just to help you remember. X comes first, followed by the y, and that makes up your ordered pair. So horizontal move, and then vertical move, and then you plot your point. So for example, when you plot points, things like 0, 0, well, first of all, you know 0, 0 already. That's the origin, because you always start at the origin. Origin means a beginning point or a starting point. So you always start at the origin, and then you go across first, and then you go up. So, or down. So the point 3, 4, we start at the origin, we count over 3 to the right because it's a positive x value of 3, and then we count up 4, and then we plot our point right there, and that's the point 3, 4. 5, negative 2, we start at the origin, we count 5 to the right because the x value is a positive 5. So we go 5 to the right. There's 5. And then the y value is negative. So does that mean we go up 2 or do we go down 2? And you hopefully said down because it is a negative 2. And there we go. And then we plot that point. And then let's negative 4, 0. Now this one's a little bit different. This tells us we're going to go 4 to the left because we have a negative 4. So on your x-axis, you're going to go 4 to the left. And then the 0 tells us to go up or down 0. Well, if I'm going up or down 0, that means I'm not moving at all. So I just stay exactly where I am, plot that point. That point is on the x-axis. It's laying right on that line, which is possible to do. And negative 2, we go from the origin. X value is negative, so we're going to go 2 to the left. Y value is negative, so we're going to go 2 down and plot that point. So that's all there is to it. It's just that simple. Okay, so we've already talked about the first number is your x coordinate. You need to know that term and know it well. The second number is the y coordinate. You need to know that term and know it well. And then your pairs are just directions. That's all it is, from the origin to a particular point. That's it. So all you have to do is always just remember, keep starting at the origin. You always go across first, and then you go up or down. And then you can see which quadrant you'll land in. And then there'll be times where you'll be connecting your points together. So there you have it. That's all there is to the good old coordinate plane. Hold on to this paper. This is a great resource because it pretty much summarizes all the basics. That's all there is to it. If you know those things, you can plot any point that you would need. All right, so there you go. The next thing you need to do will be posted for you in the classroom. So good luck and happy plotting. Yippee! Bye-bye.